episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody. I am joined alongside my good friend and co-host Tony Sapita. And Friday game day preview, as always, that we give you over here at Just Another Year Chicago. Week 9 of the NFL season as the Chicago Bears head to Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football.
Yep, Matt Nagy returns as the Bears head coach. Woo! Whatever. Though rumors are flying that the Bears front office is looking for his replacement. I know we've seen a couple good names out there recently, and Khalil Mack, he may be out where, he hasn't been practicing. I don't think he's going to be out personally, but we'll get into that and more news entering Monday's game. Nick, if you want to give us a couple quick updates, then we can get into all of it.
So just want to get the news that no one wants to hear out of the gate that Khalil Mack is doubtful for this upcoming Monday Night Football game in Pittsburgh, but you never know. Mack always seems to, come together. He's a tough guy. But Matt Nagy has said himself that it looks like Khalil Mack will not be playing this upcoming Monday night. So just be expecting that. If you have the Bears defense on your fantasy, keep that in mind. But I'm going to get into that a little bit of why this is a bigger impact than you believe against a somewhat good Pittsburgh offense. Eddie Jackson is questionable with a hamstring injury that he suffered last week against the Niners. Yes, he is. It's a bigger deal than you think, because look what happened when the Bears were doing fine until Eddie Jackson got hurt. Alec Olgetree, this is a new injury, has an ankle injury, could be a big blow, but we do have Kenny Trevathan back, so pick your poison. Damian Williams, running back, is doubtful with a knee injury. Hopefully he does be able to. He was doubtful as of right now, Friday, 12:34 p.m. Central Time. So stay tuned for that. And then JP Holtz is out with a concussion as of right now, unlikely to return for this Monday's game. A little bit more is that David Montgomery is back in practice. I kind of told you guys about that yesterday, but he's aiming to come back within the next 3 weeks. He looks really good so far. Make sure you go over to our Twitter. We retweeted the video of him just absolutely ripping it up already at House Hall. So good to see him back. Matt Nagy, again, like Tony said, returns from the COVID list. So happy to hear that coach has good health. Happy to hear that he recovered successfully. And in full regard, he was at a hotel during this whole hibernation thing. So we now know it's been confirmed. And fun fact entering this Bears game before Tony jumps into Bears offense versus Steelers defense is that the Bears are the only team in the NFL since 2006 that the Steelers have not defeated. So keep that in mind. 15 years, that's a long time. So Bears have the Bears are the underdogs right now, but don't sleep on them. All I got to say, Tony, let's jump into the Bears offense versus Steelers defensive rankings.
Yeah, so we'll kind of start with the Steelers defensive ranking. Their overall ranking is 11th in the NFL, with their rushing ranking 12th, passing ranking 13th. So, I mean, they're, I know we talked about the 49ers last week. I think the rushing was like 6 and their passing, whatever it was really spread out. This is right in the center. They're pretty consistent. So we know what we're dealing with. The Bears offensive ranking always makes me sad. Overall, 32nd in the league. That is dead last. If you did not know, there were 32 teams. The rushing is 6th because Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery, obviously earlier in the year, are absolute weapons. However, speaking of weapons, we have none in the passing game still. We have some, but we are not using them properly. We have weapons. We are not utilizing our weapons. They are malfunctioning because we are 32nd in the league with our passing ranking. The Steelers are a much easier rush defense than what we saw last week against the 49ers. And I know the Steelers have the big names, but you just go by the numbers. It just is what it is. So let Khalil Herbert and Ryan Dahl run all over these guys. The Bears way, run the ball, bear down, monsters of the midway. I guess that's defense, but either way, play strong football, strong defense, run the rock, and let Justin Fields cook. And I'll get into that with my keys to the game. Nick, you got any comments?
Yeah, I just want to say Ryan Nall is running back number 2 right now with Damian Williams uncertain. And then you have Artavius Pierce, who the Bears could bring back for this game. But Ryan Nall's a big boy, and he can run over guys. And, you have Watt on the other side of the line. I don't know. I would love to see Ryan Nall bulldoze over someone, the greatest practice squad guy ever. Very excited for that. But yes, I agree. Run the rock as much as you can against this Pittsburgh defense. The rushing's 12th, but the Bears, pretty good rushing. All I got to say. And I'll get into that in a little bit in regards to the Steelers offense, because there's a note that I want to throw out there that's going to make this a very big difference in the game. So let's move over to the Bears defense versus Steelers offense. The Steelers offensive ranking is 23rd. So the Steelers are not what they've been the last couple of years. Antonio Brown was right about everything, that Juju Smith is not a good wide receiver, that, Big Ben is not his quarterback. Overall, just a mess. The The Steelers' offensive ranking is 23rd. Their rush is 27th. Big weak point for the Steelers. Again, there's 32 teams, so that's not a good place to be in. And then their pass is ranked 17th. You go over to the Bears' defensive ranking, so they're 14th overall, so they're a little bit behind the Steelers, which is fine. But the Bears have the 23rd ranked rush only because when, Khalil Mack's out, and there's been a few games where they absolutely ripped it up, but the Bears up the middle, you can't stop them. You run it to the outside. Don't want to talk about the San Francisco game last week. It was an absolute disaster. But, the Steelers have the 17th ranked passing defense, and the Bears have the 11th. So the Bears are outweighing them there. And that point, again, Bears are 14th overall. So the defense has slowly been declining lately. And I don't want to take anything away, but here's why. I think why. We cannot deny this either, because the time of possession, offensive possession for the Bears the last 3 weeks compared to their opponents has not been that much different. Since the Green Bay game, I just want to put this out there. The defense has been on. So the difference of time of offensive possession for the Packers only had 5 minutes more. So take that as a drive. They only had one more drive than the Bears. The Buccaneers, here's the biggest shock. We lost 38-3, but the Buccaneers offense was only on the field for 3 more minutes. So the defense was giving up a lot of points. Again, the offense was not scoring. We all know that. But you can't put it all on the offense for that game because the defense was not really doing anything. We were missing Robert Quinn against the Bucs, but just want to throw that out there. And here's the biggest one. Last week against the 49ers, the Bears lost 22-33. The Bears were offensively on the field for 13 more minutes than the 49ers. Unacceptable. We lost by 11. The collapse at the end. The defense isn't what they were playing before the Green Bay game. Sean Desai has been playing way more zone defense over the last 3 weeks, and the Bears are not benefiting from it at all. Missing Khalil Mack, and yes, missing Eddie Jackson has also hurt the Bears because you have to game plan around both those Pro Bowlers. So, but here's the kicker I wanted to get to, is that the Steelers have the 28th ranked offensive line in the NFL. The Bears have the 27th. So they're almost equally as bad of an offensive line as the Chicago Bears. You put, Robert Quinn, you put Hakeem Hicks, you put Eddie Goldman, you put Blau Nichols, you put Mario Edwards Jr., you put Roquan Smith on a rush. The boys are going to eat. Like, that's just what's going to happen. Let the guys feast on the quarterback, and Big Ben can't move around. We all know that. There is no doubt about that. You can stop the run easily. I mean, the run is what's going to save the Steelers at this point. Big Ben cannot get away. Please blitz Sean Desai. Please play man-to-man coverage. Take that risk, because if you're blitzing and playing man-to-man, guess what's going to happen? Big Ben's going to be under pressure. Our guys are going to be closer to the ball when the ball gets out there, likely to get a takeaway. That's what the Bears need. That's not my keys to the game. I just wanted to throw that out there. Tony, quick comments before we move into our next subject.
So I am officially worried about the defense, I will say, because like we said, like when going back to that Rams game or even that Browns game, which that wasn't really necessarily bad defense, but it was, those performances almost felt like they were just anomalies. They were one and done. Like we came back against the Bengals, obviously, but now it's kind of stacking up, and that does worry me. My one comment about that Bucs game, about how we had 3 more minutes of offense.
Just 3 less minutes.
Or 3 less minutes. My apologies. I read the sheet wrong. We were on the field obviously longer. It wasn't even totally because of the defense. I know I said I'm worried about them, but it wasn't their fault completely. It was the specialty. That was just a full on bad game by the Bears, because I mean the Bucs were starting on their the Bears like 42. So right. I mean that's why they were just scoring quick. So I know I said I'm worried, but I'm not going to totally hold that against them. It does suck that we could never have a good offense and a good defense at the same time. I know we've never really had a good offense in general as Bears fans. But
85.
once we finally have like a franchise quarterback, our defense completely falls apart. Chicago Bears curse. But before we dive into kind of our keys to the game, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Stupid Car Tray. Stupid Car Tray saves the day. Great for keeping your seat safe from grease, crumbs. Pizza keeps your pizza level and secure, and it's good while sitting on the couch watching the Bears play. Whether it's the Lions on Thanksgiving, whether it's the Steelers this Monday. So use code BOGOMENOW, BOGOMENOW, to get buy one get one free. BOGOMENOW. The link is in the description below. Check that out. So with that being said, let's get into our 3 keys of the game. I may have said this one before. If you guys have listened, use the tight ends. use the tight ends. You did a little bit last week. Jesse James, we just put out a clip on our social of Nick and I talking about it earlier, and Justin Fields had the comment that it's a dagger every time you hear, whether it's
every
Justin Fields, Justin Fields or one of these guys saying, yeah, no, it's pretty obvious that we should have done this. We should have been doing this. His quote was, I have a good connection with Jesse James because of the reps we got together in camp. Justin Fields. It's crazy that it's like the Bears are like a teenager that just doesn't, they don't want to do their homework. They don't want to, clean up the house, whatever, where the parents like, just do it. It'll be better for you in the future. It'll be like, just please do it. It will help you so much. They're like, fine, we'll do it. And then it works. And we're just sitting here screaming, bashing our heads against the wall. Just get the tight ends more involved. And people are saying Cole Kmet sucks now. And I don't like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got it. Okay. The one in the end zone last week.
Yeah.
It touches your hands. I get, but the Bears don't utilize him. I'm sorry. I totally agree with you. The Bears do not utilize him, and Cole Kmet is a good tight end. Just use him. But Jesse James has that connection with Justin Fields. Just imagine if, we would use Allen Robinson with Justin Fields more in the offseason. Whoa. I said it last week.
Yep.
I'm going to say it again. You work with the guys more, you get more reps, you get better. Duh. Just do it. Number 2, Tony, let's hear it.
Yeah, I agree. So number 2, Justin Fields related. This is just, we actually said it, I think, on our last one as well. Get Justin on the move more. Like, it's just, when you look at the statistics, it is overwhelming how much better he is on the move. Not that he's bad in the pocket or anything, but we don't have the offensive line for it. And it is what it is. It's fine. We just got to roll him out, let him use his feet. At least, even if he doesn't run, at least give the option of, he could run. The defense is kind of like, okay, we can't overcommit one way or the other because he obviously has a cannon. We all know that too. So get him, roll him out, whatever you got to do. Just, I don't know. It's such simple fixes that it almost, Number 3, Larry Borom. Larry Borom and the offensive line have, I'm going to say, another good week. So I think they were okay last week. I don't think it was crazy bad. Larry Borom was obviously awesome. I know it was his first game back. Hopefully it wasn't just a flash in the pan. I don't think it will be personally. So just protect the quarterback. I mean, it's all just so simple, and it hurts that we have to say it over and over, but these are the issues, and these are also the keys that they just need to fix, and they just refuse to. So Nick, go ahead.
So I want to say one thing, and I agree with your points, but I want to say one thing, and that's what I was looking for. This key to the game. This is just an honorary one. The Bears have to win this game. Why? Because if the Bears lose, Matt Nagy loses this game, in the last 3 consecutive seasons, he will have 4-game losing streaks in the regular season. 2019, he lost 4 in a row. 2020, he lost 5 in a row. So technically 4. Just putting that out there. If the Bears lose Monday night, that's another 4 in a row. That's pathetic. We're just putting that out there first. I don't think anyone's discussed that yet, but that's pathetic. Key to the game, got to win this game. You have to win this game in order to stay alive for the playoffs. That's my honorary one. But my first one, I said it before, and I'll say it again, send the house on defense. Send the house. The line, even without Khalil Mack, is still very dangerous. Again, you have Hicks, you have Robert Quinn, Nichols, Edwards, Goldman, and then they're going to go after Big Ben. They're faster than him. Big Ben's going to be all over the place with the 26th offensive line in the NFL. Overall, the guy's going to get, in theory, sacked safely. No penalties, no roughing the passers, nothing. Just get it done. Number 2, run the ball. The defense cannot contain a guy like Khalil Herbert. Good blocking schemes, not draws. Please do not run a draw. But set up, a tight end and a lineman on Watt. Make sure that the edges are well contained. Let Khalil Herbert just run it up the field. All I got to say to that. And then finally, said it before again, and this is like my theme, and I know my dad is going to be like, oh, now you're catching on. Man-to-man coverage. If you are heavy coverage on the wide receivers, Big Ben cannot scramble like Justin Fields. His running back is going to be his outlet. We're going to have it covered by Roquan Smith. Guess what? It's either going to be an incompletion, a sack, or an interception, because that's what we like to do here in Chicago. Sean Desai needs to get it done. Those are my 3+1 keys to the game. Tony.
I have a quick +1 key to the game as well. We saw it last week against the 49ers. And if you watch the end of that Steelers game, when Big Ben rushed up the middle for a touchdown, 2-point conversion, my bonus key to the game will be, I know we'll be playing man-to-man coverage, so obviously these guys won't have their eyes in the backfield, the defensive backs, but stop the quarterback, run, draw, whatever it is, because that killed us last week.
Yes.
Big Ben, as slow as it was last week, he was still able to do it just because no one thought he would. So just stop it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not the defensive coordinator. It's not my job to, design a defensive play call to stop it. Just stop it. So that's my plus one bonus. So we get into our score predictions here. We'll get you guys out of here. So Tony's official score prediction for this game: Bears 31, Steelers 17. I use this score a lot. I think that's because I think it's a fun score, and I think that's what it should be.
I think the Steelers score.
Stink. It's a unique score. Yeah, maybe it's a scoregami. I don't know. Probably not. Actually, it's definitely not. Now that I say it, the Steelers stink. I think Big Ben stinks. Obviously, the defense is pretty good. They don't stink. We stink, if anything. But there's no reason we should lose this game. Monday night. One little key fact I wanted to throw in here that scares the heck out of me is the Steelers have won 19 straight home games on Monday night. Their last loss was October 14th, 1991 versus the Giants. Only 4 players on their active roster were alive that day. Ben Roethlisberger, Hayward, Boswell, and Hayden. I don't know. Yeah.
I saw that too. But hey, the Bears are the only team that they have not beaten in the last 15 years. So some sort of record's getting broken that night. And with my score prediction, I'm switching it up. I'm giving the Bears more points than I ever have this whole season. Bears win 28-14. We need a big game. I think this is it. Justin Fields even said last week, we're about to pop. And I think that Monday Night Football, the Bears have stunk on prime time under Matt Nagy. But I think that this is the optimism's kicking in. Here's what's going to happen. Here's how my week goes with a Bears loss. Sunday, I'm sad. I talked to Tony. Sunday, I'm sad after the game. Monday, I'm really sad after the game. Tuesday, I'm just mopey and don't want to talk to anyone. Wednesday, Tony and I get on a podcast. We talk. I get more excited. Thursday, I start going, okay, wait, we have a chance this week. Friday, I'm living the dream. Saturday, I'm not even thinking about it because I'm so excited for tomorrow. And then it's a repeating cycle. So we're trying to break that. That's what we want to do.
Absolutely. Also, final bonus comment: Aaron Rodgers should go to jail for being a meanie pants. Okay.
Okay. Well, he owns the Bears still though. So all I have to say is that that's just what it is. But the Bears are coming for the Packers in the next couple of coming weeks. So stay tuned for that. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, joined alongside Tony Sapita, and we will see you guys next.